Hello there folks and welcome back to the Neil Robertson Pro Career on Snooker 19. Today it's time for episode 89 of the whole career and episode 20 of season 2. And today, for only the second time in the 89 episodes, we are playing against the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan, one of the best players of all time and widely considered the best player of his generation. But at the moment, you will see that he is only languishing down in 6th in terms of the rankings. It is time for the quarterfinals of the Scottish Open. By far, the biggest opponent we've faced so far. If my memory serves me correct, it's been a while since I've done a video on this game. We haven't conceded the frame at all so far. We've beat Liam Highfield, Steve Maguire, Anthony McGill, and the player who we beat in the first round, I've forgotten who that is. But nevertheless, we have beaten them all by 3 frames to 0. But to beat Ronnie by that amount would be quite tricky. And the one time we played against Ronnie in this career mode was in the Betway UK's last year. And we went out in the cruelest vein. We were 2-1 down to Ronnie in a best of 5. We were going to make it 2 each, just to pot the black. We were actually 13 points ahead, so I didn't go for the pot, just a safety on the black. Didn't need to pot it, and it actually turns out we went in off. And of course that gave Ronnie 7 points from the foul, and after potting the black he won the frame by a point and won the match by 3 frames to 1. So hopefully it's not similar today, in that similar vein in terms of a Ronnie O'Sullivan win. But we've been playing very well so far. I do apologise, of course, hasn't been a video for a few weeks. Just had a little bit of a break over Christmas. But I am back, I think, at least for the short term anyway. But we're not quite at the new year yet, but I hope you all had a good Christmas. If you are watching this in the short term, of course, if you're watching this in the future, in like June, well, I hope you had a good Christmas 2019 as well, I suppose. But not quite new year just yet, not quite 2020. But I think this might well be my final snooker video of 2019. But if you want to hear my whole thoughts on how 2019's gone in general as a content creator, I should be releasing a 2019 year in review video tomorrow on New Year's Eve. But it's a big match. It's Ronnie against Robbo. That's going to be a bit of an awkward one. So we'll just go with Ronnie against Neil, shall we? But that is a bit of an awkward break-off from Ronnie, it has to be said, although he could get the snooker perhaps, but not the best break-off in the world, it has to be said, from Ronnie O'Sullivan. It does leave quite an easy red for us to get started with, actually, which is a little bit of a shocker, really, from Ronnie, it has to be said. That's a good start. I think it's a little bit too early to say we could potentially win the frame in this visit, but with the way the reds are, it's not the silliest suggestion in the world, but they are quite tightly packed, as they usually are at this point in a frame, so we just have to be careful about what decisions we make. And yeah, we're in a little bit of an awkward space here, because if we'd have been a little bit further back, we could have gone for a blue. But we're just going to have to rely on a little bit of topspin, because that pink, don't have any faith in that pink. Could play a safety shot, but again, I just don't see the point, really. Get the green potted, I would say. And then if we have to play a safety shot, we just play it on the back of the green. That was an easy enough pot, though, wasn't it? We weren't really going to mess about there. But doesn't leave too much on. That's not too much of a surprise, though. Well, it does leave that red on, so we're going to go for that red. But the AI is still on hard difficulty. Everything's still the same as before. We've obviously been underperforming this season. If you haven't been watching the season, or are new to this series, hello, I am Toby from TIJ Gaming, and we've been doing this series ever since April. Unbelievably. Yeah. We've been doing this series ever since April when the game came out, and it's been a little bit stop-start. But we've not been doing the best with Robertson. Funnily enough, this is the tournament we did win last year. We haven't won any other tournaments just yet in the career mode, but I think I would love to change that. We've been in a few finals that we've lost out on. Got to the Oppo International Championship final last year, in which we lost to Judd Trump by 4 frames to 3. We got to the final of the Daffabet Masters, which we lost to, I want to say, Mark Allen. 13 frames. No, was it Mark Allen? God, it seems like such a long time ago, that does now. I think it was Mark Allen, but it was the best of 19. We did also go out to Mark Allen, I think, in the World Champs. So if we beat Ronnie, I hope we don't get Mark Allen in the semi-final of this, because he seems to be our bogey player. Not that, of course, being beaten by Mark Allen is anything to be ashamed of. Let's try and get decent position on the black here. We've started pretty well, though. But that good start has to be continued, or else it's not worth much.
Nice position on the black.
Try and open up these reds a little bit. Just hit those 3 reds on the follow through. Just check we do get there. That's actually a little bit hard. I didn't realise it was quite going to be that hard. Need a little bit of backspin, and hopefully just hitting these 3 reds will open things up a little bit. Doesn't. That's unfortunate. That's a shame. Yeah. I think looking back, that probably wasn't the best shot to play, but oh well. Well, I don't think... I mean, Ronnie would be taking a risk to try and pop this from here. He obviously can't get to the top pocket, so I'm just going to simply do... play it to the left-hand side a little bit of this red. Because if I play it to the right, he's got more of a chance to get in that middle pocket. So in light of that, just a nice tap on the red. It's a little bit too much, but I think that the angle he's got to play this out. He's got to pull off something pretty impressive to get a pot, and yeah, he just goes for a safety shot, which isn't a surprise. And yeah, this isn't the best, is it? Let's be honest. What we are going to try and do, I think, is just try and get this behind the black. Don't look like the worst shot in the world. That is just about as intended. Fantastic.
The risk here is, where does the cue ball end up?
Should be an easy enough one to get out of, but still, nevertheless, it doesn't hurt, does it? And it might, well, does it?
Half a chance.
He has left half a... I was going with the whole Neil Folds talk, then half a chance. But, oh, this is the sort of shot that's almost too easy that you fool yourself into and miss. So what we are going to go for, we're going to go for this pot instead on the red. So like I've just said, you do get a little bit too complacent, I think. That looks good to me. It's a big risk to take at this point in the frame. But if it goes...
And he's missed it.
Which it hasn't, unfortunately. That could be really costly. I said the good start, you know, we've got to maintain that. But that was a big chance, big risk to take, particularly at this early stage of the match and the frame. And it might just let Ronnie straight in here. Let's see what he can do.
6. He's looking to pop this.
As I said though, I hope you guys are all good. Hope you had a good Christmas, etc. And hopefully you guys looking forward to snooker content being back. No Snooker 20 been announced yet, so it's still in the Snooker 19 content for the time being.
That's a beauty. 10.
Got to open up the reds at some point, because after this pot he might struggle to get position on anything. That red will just go, won't it? Yeah, that is... Oh, I didn't realise that one would go. Didn't spot that. Good spot though from Mr. O'Sullivan. He's on the wrong side of the blue though, if that's the pot he's going for. Does make things a little bit awkward. So he's going for one of the bulk colours. He's got the yellow, and he's tried to bring it all the way right round, and that's a nice, very nice position. To be expected though from Ronnie, isn't it, to be honest? It's crazy though, isn't it? I was 6th in the rankings. I mean, I think it's Mark Selby who's just gone far and away above anybody else at the top. And there's 4 players, John Higgins, Judd Trump, Mark Williams and Mark Allen, presumably, who's fighting, scrapping that out quite close for that second spot. But I think Ronnie is sort of languishing on his own in 6th. As I've said before, I think a good few tournaments would push us straight back up to sort of 7th, 8th place in the rankings, which is what we do need, to be fair, because obviously 7th or 8th, 8th or above anyway, gives us a bit of preferential treatment in the likes of the Masters, which, of course, isn't far away whatsoever. In fact, it might even be the next tournament. But, yeah. We've just been a little bit weak so far this year, and as a result, other players have overtaken us, which isn't a surprise, but I think that's given us a wake-up call being down in 10th now. So, a quarter-final appearance is actually our best performance of the whole season so far. Amazing, really, isn't it? But Ronnie's got on in this frame, knock-mucked about. Decent break of 41. Doesn't need too much more here. The 3 red should do it. Because he's already 21 ahead, yeah.
46.
But a decent break to start Ronnie off. We need to fight back in the next frame. We had a good start, but just didn't maintain it. It happens sometimes. Took the risk, you know. If it had paid off, we'd have probably gone and won the frame in that visit. But sometimes you have to take the risk. Sometimes they pay off. Sometimes they don't. Just got to learn to be a bit more calculated. And I think if it was later in the match, perhaps we would have been a little bit more calculated. But Ronnie has pretty much finished this off. He's 35 ahead. There's 35 remaining in the red. We'll do it with this frame. It has beautiful pot. Snooker's required, of course, now. But I think we're just going to watch Ronnie do all this in one visit. Clear the table, I would say he would now.
63.
And this is a potential break of 90. Certainly a good one to get us started in this match.
65.
So despite Ronnie not being great clearly in the rankings, he's still not lost it, which isn't a surprise at all.
72.
I just do wish this game had tournament trees though, just to see what the other games were. I think that would just make the immersion just that little bit more better. A little bit more better? Little bit better.
83.
But he is going to get the break of 90. It looks like he's perfectly positioned for the black. Just the one ball to pot. And that is a beautiful pot. And fair play to Ronnie. He's done very well.
And that completes
And took the first frame.
clearance. Fantastic play.
90. And the first frame.
Not quite the century, but he did what was required of him.
Frame.
And it's our break off in the second frame.
Thank you. The second frame. Neil Robertson to break.
Just our standard break as usual. This doesn't look too bad at all. Keep running, keep running, keep running. That is pretty good. I'm happy with that. Very happy. It's not quite the snooker off the break off, but I don't think we can argue with that whatsoever. I don't think this red goes. It's always in... Well, this one will go, but I just don't think we can get to it, can we? No, this one won't, though. The one that we cut... That one. That will go. We can... It's a tempter, you know. It is a tempter. Because I think we will get safe if we don't pot it. It's a tempter, though. That's what we're going for. It's not quite there. But as I said, it wouldn't leave much on because it would just come back to the red. So that's absolutely fine. It was worth a go. We didn't get it. That's the sort of calculated risk, in my opinion, that you can take. Interesting shot there. Very clever shot, actually. Going to bring this off 2 cushions, though, now. Bring it back to bulk, hopefully. If that keeps running, that might not be the worst shot in the world. Just taps the brown, so that's a little bit unfortunate. The blue actually helps set quite a bit, though, here. Which means he can play a thin shot. That's a clanger from Ronnie. It's always the case with these safety plays that it's always the first player to make a bit of a muck-up. And in this case, it was Ronnie. Now, we took quite a risk there, because if we'd have mucked it up for the black, we'd have absolutely no position on anything. So, that should be... Yeah, that should be fine. Need to make sure we get the pot right there. That would be helpful. Got to get the fundamentals right before buggering about with position, etc.
A bit casual there. He'll be annoyed with that.
I mean, what was I doing?
80.
I mean, come on. I should have looked. I thought that was okay. I should have looked at that. Why I didn't, goodness knows why. That is really frustrating. That's stupid, in fact. Should have just made sure of myself. The old mistakes are just creeping back in, but we don't give too much away there. It was touching ball.
Touching ball.
So we're just going to play that back up to the bulk. And the safety battle will continue. Although, I do fancy a little bit of a punt at this.
It looks like he's trying to get the cue ball tight on the cushion here.
Doesn't look too bad. That's a little bit unfortunate. I think he will get... Oh, that's annoying. He will get... that blue might block him, actually. Tricky to tell from a top-down view, and it does. So we got away with that a little bit. That's a good shot. Ooh, he doesn't get away with it, though. That's a shame. From Ronnie's perspective, anyway. Can't say I'm too gutted. But from the near pot we did get earlier, we finally potted it. We could have a bit of a start in this frame. As long as we don't make the silly mistakes we've made before. Ronnie's led us in a few times here. And if a player like Ronnie lets you in, then ultimately you've got to take the chance when it's there. So we'll get the green, come back to the cushion and just go for a straight pot on this red. And hopefully we can just develop things from there. That couldn't have been straighter. Fantastic.
Just wants to sink this into the left corner pocket. In it goes.
Get bulk side of the blue. Just try and open up these reds a little bit. Nothing ridiculous.
5.
But just try and get a healthy healthy bit of spread between the reds. And that isn't bad at all. Whether it'll open up an opportunity, it will. That's played quite well into our hands. That's nice to see. Frame winning opportunity here. Definitely. Could go for the black, but I'm not too enamoured with the black in this situation.
Aiming for the centre pocket here.
Can't argue with that sort of pot, can you?
Played it well.
Leaves it pretty much straight on that ball. Pink has to go back up to bulk, which isn't the worst thing in the world. Black will go though here, so we might as well play for it.
18.
If it does, yeah, it does. Yeah, it's always worth checking though. It is definitely always worth checking. It's a nice pot.
25.
Now, I was looking to get to this one on the cushion, but actually I think this is probably the best bet. It's always a little bit fiddly, I always find, with the cushions. So, because of that, in fact, we don't have to play this too hard. We can set a bit of a trickier pot on the blue. I'd just rather get this red in. And the more pace we play it at, the bigger risk it's going to be.
26.
But in theory, that black should go again, because none of the reds have moved. So yeah, we'll go for the black. Play it a bit harder, though, this time. Try and get a few things moving. There we go. That's not too bad at all.
33.
It's having that flexibility to play around the black that can really help you out sometimes. Just get that red off the cushion. That sets it up a little bit nicer. Bit of a tighter angle here. Should be fine though. Lovely. Not the best position though. We royally mucked that one up. So it's going to have to be this red. Won't play it with much power. Go on, be kind. Lovely.
Tremendous spot.
What the hell is that animal outside? I don't know if you can hear it. Any animal experts today?
42.
But we've not been in the best position, but we've got out of it quite nicely.
49.
And this should be, if we just keep our focus, should be a frame winning break to bring us back into this at one each. Oof, I'll tell you what, that wasn't the most accurate. Worried a little bit about that. That didn't look quite as straight as I'd have liked it to be. But sometimes, a little bit like football, if you're in bad form, it doesn't matter how they go in, as long as they do.
57.
Just exploring my options there. It's a good pop, just wants to get a bit further round. If that queues up behind the red, I was going to cry. But we do get away with it just, I think. Yeah, we do, thank goodness for that. First pot other than a black for a while, so try and just hit these reds, because they're in a little bit of an awkward position there.
No way back into this frame for his opponent now.
But I think that's pretty much the frame done. Ooh. But could be another twist just yet, because we have mucked this up. Tried to play a little bit too ambitious there. Safety time it is then. It's a little bit too hard, isn't it? In fact, it's way too hard. Could have just done with a few more pots to get us across the line. I'd say Ronnie will definitely play on from here. Yeah. Just plays the safety. Huh. Not the best safety in the world, though. We'll definitely take this opportunity to... I mean, as long as we get the red, it blocks off 8 potential points for Ronnie, so... I don't think he'll bother coming back to the table. Try and get a bit of potting practice in, though. Not necessarily clear everything up, but... get a few reds on to put it beyond dispute that we will go and win this frame. But yeah, you could argue we got away with it a little bit there. Huh, black's off its spot.
He's lining this one up to the middle pocket.
Potting game's good today though. Playing nice and accurately, I'd argue, which is always good.
He just wants to slot this into the middle pocket.
We'll get this red and then we'll call it a day. On this frame, get on with the third one. Just put it behind the blue to make sure he definitely doesn't go for anything here. I mean, he's not going to. There's 43 remaining now, so he's certainly not going to bother continuing at this point, but just put the icing on the cake. He's snookered. He's not going to play on. And we brought it back to 1 each.
Neil Robertson, 70. Frame conceded. Frame, Neil Robertson.
Nice pint of water to get us through, eh? Replicating the real game, but it's 1 each. As I said, we needed to fight back there, because if you're ever 2-0 down
It's tight, isn't it?
in a 5-frame match, it can get very tricky.
There's an immediate comeback.
Obviously, the optimum here is for us to perform the comeback and
Third frame, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
get 2-1 up. Let's see how we get on. Not bad at all. Straight back up to the bulk cushion. Nice. That one red that was a little bit out, it safely snuck back into the in the pack. Again, another bizarre shot from Ronnie. He's playing a little bit aggressively, I would argue, and it's a little bit bizarre. Trying to force into a mistake, I'm not sure. Really not. We're going to have a sniff at this first pot. And that's the opening pot for us in all 3 frames so far. So, if we hadn't made that muck up in the first frame, then this could be a potential match-winning break, potentially. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves just yet, do we? Let's be honest. I'm just going to check the AI and hard after this, because we've either been playing very well, or we've been given quite a few chances. Not like Ronnie to give away that sort of chance, though.
8.
Shame we can't get any backspin here. Certainly not from the black, anyway. Have a look at our options. I think that red will go if we position things correctly. Yeah, it will. Okay. Let's set this shot up then. If we overdo this, we haven't got a chance, but it's certainly a sniff.
In it goes. What a shot.
And that is pretty much, not quite perfect, but it's pretty much where we'd like it to be. So I'm happy with that. Don't get too complicated. We don't want to whack it into the reds just yet. Just focus on the pots. And sometimes position just comes naturally.
14.
When I'm saying that, and we're just playing into the reds from here.
This will test his technique.
Always a risky shot.
That's a bit sloppy. He's lost position here.
Not really done anything though, has it? No. It's a bit of a kicker. Certainly is now that we've let that roll. Oh dear. That was a clanger.
Neil Robertson. 9.
Really was.
This is a half chance.
Much like the first frame. We've mucked things up. Oh dear.
That split is not bad at all.
That's a good split. Can't argue with that.
8.
This is not easy.
That's a brilliant pot.
9. 14.
Gently does
I didn't think you'd want to hear me have the snivels and blow me nose, so I've just turned the commentary off just for a second there, but yeah. Again, much like the first frame, we've been given the chances and we're just not taking them. I mean, that was a silly shot. We could have just played the safety and played the real safety and just played it into the reds. Wasn't touching balls, so if we'd have just played it into the reds, it wouldn't have hurt anything. But sometimes you take a risk and sometimes it comes off, sometimes it fails miserably, but the way Ronnie's playing here, I can't see anything other than Ronnie going 2-1 up. Unless he makes a real clanger.
This looks pretty simple.
Just means if Ronnie does go 2-1 up, we can't afford to make another mistake. And that's in the whole game. Or else it's curtains. I never mind going out if we play our best. If we play our best and go out, then just the luck of the draw. But if we make silly mistakes that could have been avoided, then ultimately you've only got yourself to blame.
42.
But yeah, Ronnie looks sublime, doesn't he? When he's on form and in and around the colours, he just looks unstoppable. I mean, there's 5 reds left here. He's 31 ahead. Not all over yet, of course. But I don't see it being too long before it is.
51.
I hope we're not heading for a repeat of that UK Championship score. But when he's been given the chance, in the first and in this frame, he has built 2 solid breaks. I mean, we had a solid break, didn't we, in the second frame? We need to be on the right side, though, of those next 2, certainly. Come on, Ronnie, any time.
59.
After this black, there'll be 51 remaining. And he's 47 ahead. So a red will do it.
67.
Yeah, that should do it now. But I think what the fans are probably focusing on, can he get what he didn't get in the first frame? And that is the ton. Ooh, it's going to be a tricky pot.
This really is tricky.
Going to give it a go. That's a lovely pot. Fantastic.
81.
Potential 116 break on here. Still a potential 116. Oh no, sorry, 115.
88.
What am I doing? Maths is awful. I told you I failed A level. But yeah, the ton
93.
just needs the brown and the blue. And that makes it a 102. And if he doesn't get this blue, well, he doesn't deserve the ton. Straightest blue you could possibly find, and that is a ton for Ronnie.
What a century that is.
102.
Wax the pink in true Ronnie style. And to finish off the frame, a very good break of 115. That makes me a little bit worried, but we've got to come and fight that now and do something similar in the 4th frame, or else the Scottish Open is all over for us.
Ronnie also.
And that is the frame. Well played.
So he's opened up a 1-frame gap and will be looking to apply some pressure on his
So,
opponent.
to take it down to a final frame decider, we have to go and win this frame. That's not the worst way to start. Might leave a little bit of a sniff at a red if he's tempted. And he is. And he gets first blood. Position of the black's not going to help him though. It's going to have to be a blue.
6.
Wow. He's already off to a start here.
That's an excellent ball.
Wonderful pot. Outstanding.
Play the blue and open up the reds.
7.
Anything I can see.
That's really opened the table up.
Well, well.
12.
Will we just have no control? This is the sort of thing I'm on about. I don't mind losing like this. Because it was a decent break off, just left that 1 red. But if you can manufacture a frame winning break from here, then
13.
fair play to him. Wow.
playing this into the right centre pocket.
19. 20.
I always do my farewell speech at this point, don't I?
26.
When it's 2-1 and oh, they're on the way to win, and then all of a sudden
27.
they miss. But I don't think that's going to happen today. It's been in surefire form all day. And although he's played very well, we did give 2 of those frames away. In this one, just from a great taken risk from Ronnie.
No problem there.
Calculated risk. He got the pot, opened things up nicely. And unless he misses something in the next few balls, I don't see any comeback for us here.
39.
It would be nice to see Ronnie win this tournament, though, if he went through.
Drop into the pocket.
Just to stop the bloody Mark Selby route. But of course, if you've watched this point, I always appreciate you guys watching this point.
40.
I really know who's the true fans at this point. But if you are... Ooh. Eye up.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
That's a peculiar shot. Maybe he just didn't fancy the pot. And that's not the worst... Well, pretty much the best shot he could have played, that safety. We've played that too hard. And he can actually have a bit of a potential go at this red on the cushion. We've left it as a tempter. But no, just a safety here. Ooh. But unbelievably, he has got away with that shot. Because the black is blocking the red. Well, well. Would you believe it, Jeff? It's going to be very tight hitting that black, isn't it? If we go for that shot. No, we don't hit the black. That's not bad at all. I'll take that. He does leave the red with the red by the pink spot as a potential, but again at this point I had to risk and he can actually get to that one. Well, fair play to him from there. That was a tricky pot, and he got to it. Not a lot more we could have done there.
1. 7.
But he gave us a few chances there to potentially mess him up.
8.
We just gave him up opportunities for him to maximise his lead, so...
14. 15.
Oof, good pot on the black. All round the table as well.
He just needs this red.
Well, you heard the commentator. Mr. Hendon just needed the red.
30.
And now to just polish things off. Potentially clear everything on the table up. Make it a frame that's completely dominated by Ronnie. And unfortunately finishes off any hopes of us retaining the Scottish Open. But we have to see the positive signs from this tournament. We got to the quarterfinal. It's the furthest we've got all season. Got to take that positive momentum of 4-3-0s in a row. Okay, it's not been our best game today, but I do think that's probably down to the fact I haven't played the game for a few weeks. That never helps. But, as I've said, I think we've got to be positive about this tournament. Going out to the Ronnie, there's no shame in it. Again, we didn't play our best. That second frame wasn't too bad, though. It was a highlight. But, ultimately, a few too many mistakes creeping in there. But, yeah. We'll live because of that. That's okay. I don't mind going out to Ronnie in those circumstances.
This is a tricky one along the cushion.
Unfortunately, not going to be a ton for him because it's 2 separate breaks, but he can clean everything up on the table, and I'm quite happy to watch him do it.
Just the colours to go.
62.
It's just the 5 balls left on the table.
65. 69.
Would leave a nice, healthy 87 to finish us off. That's lovely on the pink. So, potential break of 87. This black, it's perfectly set up as it was in the last frame. And with a break of 87, another break of, I think, 125. You have to give it to Ronnie O'Sullivan. He was the better player today. And unfortunately, our Scottish Open adventure. And our hopes of retaining the title are over. Well, I hope Ronnie goes and wins this now. Goes and wins the whole tournament. He outclassed us today, played very well. And as I said, our adventure is all over. 2 very good breaks, 115 the highest break. And we move on. We have to move on. Got to get our mojo back. But it was Judd. Judd who won it. Mark Selby the high break award. Judd Trump won the competition. Unfortunately, don't know who was in the final with him. But next up, we have the German Masters qualifiers. Now, I can't remember whether I've said I'm going to play in the German Masters just yet. But the next tournament will be the Dafabet Masters, which we got to the final of last year. Of course, the German Masters don't come until this point. So it's just the qualifiers. But next up, we have the Dafabet Masters. Not fussed about the Championship League at all. But as you can see, the rankings is slipping away. Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins, 5th and 6th, quite close to each other. Judd Trump pulling away from the top, well, from everybody else really, apart from Mark Selby, of course. But goodness me, we are languishing now, and we need to get our game sorted. Dafabet Masters, of course, only an invitational, but one of the biggest events of the year. But all of a sudden, if we don't do very well in the Masters, it's not long really till the World Championships, and we had 69 episodes in the last season. It could very easily be, well, 50 maximum if we're not careful here, and that just shows how much of a poor season we potentially had. But a decent tournament there. Got to the quarterfinals of the Scottish Open, and hopefully that can continue in the Dafabet Masters. If you enjoyed that, make sure to leave a like down below, comment your thoughts as well, and hope you all had a Merry Christmas, as I've said before. And if I don't speak to you before, have a very Happy New Year, and let's hope 2020 is a good year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye for now.